testing the SVS SB-2000 Pro calibrated with music. So once again, we turn the microphone on and we're going to turn the gain up this time to 7. There we go, because we're going to be listening at a lower volume. And this is the SVS 2000 Pro with music. One more thing, we are at 65 decibels now, which is kind of normal. In fact, let's turn up to 70. 70 decibels, 70 decibels, normal listening volume, I would say. Not that loud, but getting loud. Yeah, let's try that. So that's that track. We'll do another track of this rubbish, no copyright music, but you know, that's how it works on YouTube. So let's go again. Yeah, so in conclusion, so far, I haven't tested the XTZ yet. I'm going to do that next, but that sub is working very well with these Teufel THX speakers. They've been calibrated to each other. I'd be pleased with that, in all honesty. If I'm leaning 60% movies, or, you know, 60% movies, I would say, and 40% music, then I would be happy with that sort of setup. If you want to play more music than you do movies, then you might want to look at getting some music speakers rather than cinema style speakers. You know, more hi-fi oriented, and that as the support. I believe that would still do a great job there. These are sealed box speakers, and very, very quick, very, very detailed, you know, but maybe slightly clinical. I would say maybe more of a monitor style speaker. You know, I think these could actually be used as monitors myself, but if people want more of a musical sort of sound, then maybe best to change those. I think that would be good in support. But anyway, let's now go to the XTZ 1217 Edge and see how well that partners with these Teufels for music. Okay, we're back. XTZ is back in its original position. I'm now going to put on my XTZ profile on my amplifier. Let's put it on. There it is. We're going to keep the volume at the same. We were trying to target about 70 decibels. So turn the recorder on. This is the test, the music test of the XTZ 1217 Edge. Yes, that's all I have to say. Put some music on, if you could call it music. Let's go. Yeah. Obviously, guys, I'm going to test more music with these two subs later, but most music is copyright and I can't put it on YouTube without getting into trouble. So you just have to take my word for it. Let's go. That sounds wicked. Wicked, wicked, wicked. Immediately I can hear that there's a slam. This thing has a slam immediately, and not blurry at all. Tight. There's a slam going on. Let's hear more. Song doesn't bloody end. Okay, that's that. Let's move on to the next track. So, in the first track, there was a slam that this XTZ had. Wasn't loose or anything. It was, it was quite nice to listen to with that sort of music, right? But I'm feeling that I'm hearing that that the music is coming from two different points, just a tiny bit more than the SVS. So it's a question of integration. That's the question. It's the integration. Perhaps if you had bigger speakers that could handle lower frequencies, like these Teufels are only really good down to about 80 Hertz. So if you could find a nice pair of bookshelves that go nicely down to about 60 Hertz, or maybe even 50, if they're quite large bookshelf speakers, then I would say that would probably integrate better because it would be doing less of the work. But with these smaller speakers, I would say the SVS integrates better. That has more of a slam. If you like to, that kind of party sort of music, that's going to be more enjoyable, I would say. The SVS integrates better. But in the second track, I would have to give it to the SVS because, you see, this music, it's recorded in stereo, and with movies, the subwoofer has its own specific channel. That's what the 5.1 means in a 5.1 setup. It has its own specific channel on the Blu-ray disc or whatever it is that you're using. So everything that's been sent to the subwoofer is meant to be there. But with music, it was originally meant to come from two positions, the left and right stereo speakers. So in a small / medium-sized room like this, the subwoofer coming from that one place, you can hear the build-up of bass in that one spot. It just doesn't sound right. Perhaps a second sub would help fix that, because there's so much bass energy coming from there, especially the lower bass, the sub bass energy. So perhaps a second subwoofer would help cancel some of those out. But if you were going to go, if I were just to say what's the better sub with music, I'd probably say the SVS, because it matches better with these smaller speakers. But if you were partnering this with floor standers, well, you'd have to test that. Probably don't know. I'd still probably say the SVS, but I've not tested that. So that's all I can say on this topic. There's just one more thing that I would like to say about the XTZ. I think some of the integration problems I experienced during this was probably due to the DSP. So one thing I've noticed about the subwoofer is its DSP seems to add a higher amount of lag compared to other subwoofers I've tried recently. So what happens is the signal gets sent to the subwoofer. This then has to go through a series of connections before actually reaching the output stage. Now that lag can add 10 milliseconds or even more than that. Now the SVS has a DSP on board as well, so it's not just the XTZ, but I noticed when I went into the Yamaha's menu, the receiver thought the XTZ was further away compared to the SVS, sorry, which means that it probably suffers slightly more from a lag compared to the SVS. So the receiver thought the XTZ was about 8.5 meters away, when in fact it's actually about 2 meters away. So that's a 6.5 meter difference. The speed of sound is, I think, 343 meters per second. So I'm estimating the lag is quite significant on the XTZ, about 18 or 19 milliseconds, which is quite high compared to other subwoofers I've tested recently. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, because we're talking 18, 19 milliseconds. It doesn't sound like a lot for your ears, but really, in terms of your, for your brain, that can make some problems. And also it can present other problems in the room, like phase cancellation, for example. So after I did this blog, I played around with the XTZ some more and tweaked the distance settings some more. And I did get the XTZ to blend a little bit better with my cinema speakers. But I think maybe the edge still goes a little bit to the SVS for music.